All right, now you hear me, Aaron? Let's see. All right, so share that. And all right. Oh, let me go one more spot. Dude, I swear, it's a never-ending battle with all with all of this. Where was I going? Oh. And can you see me on like the bigger camera, or is it still on the webcam? Because right now I can't see. For some reason, like my monitor is gone. Because normally it has a monitor on eCam as well. Let's see. Got my overlays. That. Let's get rid of this thing. All right, so then I will try one more thing just to make sure that this does not shut off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you guys my screen so you can get an idea of, what does that say? Viewfinder? Yeah, all right. So I got to try to overwrite that. And the face tracking is on. All right. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab the camera and show you. That's what it is. The autofocus is on. All right. Again, learning experience, guys. All right. So here, let's grab the camera and we'll go through this together. And actually, can you guys see my entire screen right now? Let's see. That's muted. So one of the things that it's supposed to show is an actual, like, a view. Like, it's supposed to be like a viewfinder of what you see, like of me seeing what you guys see. And for some odd reason, that is not on. But I think you can actually see my screen. All right, so let me grab the camera. One second. All right, so now, oh, it's like Inception right now. So what you saw there was the autofocus being on. So I'm going to see if I can find a way to turn the autofocus off, and that way you don't see the box around me. So let's give that a shot. And so there's something called Clean HDMI. And what Clean HDMI does is normally when you are looking through your viewfinder, you see all the stats around you, right? Like recording button, your ISO, all that stuff. You see that on the side, how much time you have, your battery. So if you ever go online to watch a video and they say Clean HDMI, that means it doesn't show any of that. So at the Canon, there's a way for you to turn off the settings by hitting the info button. So right now it looks good. So I'm going to put the camera back and then I'll go through this entire screen to show you what's happening. All right, so now it's in manual focus, so you should not see the box around. I love it. I love how screwed up this is because it's a learning process for everybody. So yeah, the clean HDMI, if you ever see a YouTuber reference that when they're talking about a camera, all it means is normally when you're looking through your the screen on your camera, you'll see all the stats. And when you plug your camera into the computer, since it's mirroring what the camera sees, you're going to see all the stats, the batteries and all of that. Clean HDMI means the camera gets rid of all of those stats. So on the Canon, there's a way to do that by hitting the info button, and there's different views that it has. And one of them, of course, is getting rid of all the stats. So if anything, you might see, let me see on the, no. So it's not showing you guys like a record button or anything, but it's showing you manual focus, I think, right? Yeah, manual focus might still be on. So let me try. I turned off live demo, and then let me know if it still says manual focus. It probably does. Yeah, I think it does. All right, so let me try to turn that off. All right, let's see. So actually now you're seeing it not as clean HDMI. So I'll go through the settings again and see if we can get rid of everything that's on the screen. All right, so I think the screen looks good now. Just let me know in the comments, of course. On the stream, it looks good. All right, so I'm going to go back to this. All right, so when you plug in an external camera to use with Ecamm Live, when you're in the main window, which is showing you what the camera is seeing, no matter what camera you're using, at the bottom here, there's two options to see if you want to switch between your default camera, whatever that is, and whatever external camera it is that you have. So you have that, and then on the bottom here, it shows you your sound levels. So for those of you who were here last week, when you had that echo going on, I actually had on the MacBook microphone on by mistake. So Ecamm was picking up the Mac microphone and this microphone as well. Down here, you have the scenes option. And what that does is it'll let you switch between what you guys will see. So, for example, if I do that, desktop. So there's different ones that now that I have an external camera, I've got to program what each scene will be. One of them, for example, I had defaulted to whatever app is open to just show that app. And that way, last week, when you guys saw the FaceTime going on, all I did was switch scenes to that one, and it automatically locked in on FaceTime being the app that was running. So that's what the scenes is. And then, of course, here you guys can see your comments, and I can actually add it to the broadcast. But now that it's in a new spot, I got to figure out a new way to format it. So let's see here, actually. Oh yeah, I could change the color and everything. So make that white. And the background is black. We'll do that so you can definitely see it no matter what's behind. So now let's try, there you go. So now I can put the comments in and you will all see them in real time. Now, those of you from the income stream, something that Pat referenced today was there's a way to have comments automatically pop on the screen, and that's using yet another app in conjunction with Ecamm. If you use Streamlabs, I believe they have more options in there and more integration, and he has it set up so that when a super chat comes in, which is a paid comment, that pops up automatically. But then through Ecamm, that's how he manually adds comments or questions as he's going through everything. So the only thing that's missing here is, the overlays. So, I have like the HeyArcher one there, and then there's different ones I can do. So if somebody's guest starring, like whenever Aaron's on, I could turn that feature on and off. And you can also set the overlays so that maybe they're only available in certain scenes. So for example, Aaron, if you were on the show, I'd probably have a scene just to the Zoom app or FaceTime, however we did it. And I can take your, that's the comment. That's cool. It shows recent ones. It would take your thing here, your tag. I could attach it to that scene. So when I jump to that scene, then automatically you would be on there. So that's how that works. The only thing that's not being seen here on the screen for some odd reason is normally there's a small like viewfinder showing me how it looks on the stream, but I'm not seeing that. So I have my phone kind of playing simultaneously, and I don't see that option. I'm not sure why. All right. So the other thing, and I know, Chauncey, I think you had asked a question. Let me see if I can find it. I can't go back more in the comments. Oh, it was in the last one, I think. Yeah, it was in the last stream. So in the last stream, I think it was you that had asked, is there a way to... Oh, hang on. Before I get to that, the obvious other one on the side of the screen, the Rodecaster. So the with the Rodecaster... Oh, my God. Oh, I thought the camera just went out. So with the Rodecaster, that's what allows me to change my sound balance. So you guys can hear me, and then as I'm talking, it goes away. So the Rodecaster lets you do that. But what's nice about the Rodecaster is I can plug in other microphones into it. If people are here, if somebody's calling in, I can have my phone Bluetooth to the Rodecaster. So that way the sound is all going through one station. And it has an SD card built in, an SD card slot built in. So if I want to record something, I can record straight to this, not even need the computer, and then export it whenever I'm ready. But what you see Pat do on his stream, and what I did for you guys earlier, was there's a set of 8 buttons that you can program to whatever you want. Now on the screen, that's what you see here on the right side. Oh, there's my thing. I was looking for that. So on the right side, you have some of the presets. Now I can click on them to actually change it normally. For some reason, it's not letting me do it. Oh, I think I'm hiding it. That's what it is, yeah. I need a bigger screen. So you can actually change what each button is, and then that way, control it that way. And what's nice is you can actually combine sound effects on here. You're not limited to just one at a time. So for example, so it's neat because you can kind of combine stuff on there. So that's what's going on here on the side. I have that open so I can see what button is which sound effect. The two that I'm actually most proud of that I got to find somewhere to use them. Thundercat sound, and of course, I got to change it on here. Let's see. That's got to be like some sort of transition thing. I'm working on it. It's all a work in progress. So that is the screen that I'm looking at now. You guys are now into that world. The one that I was trying to get to connect, that I was getting an issue with, is the Canon utility. Now, the reason I was trying to get this to work is, and I've had issues with this app even before I got this computer. The reason I want the Canon utility to work is it allows me to put the camera into a live view. So much like the way on the screen here that I can see what's happening on the camera, the app also sees the camera. The difference is when you're using the Canon app, it's sending a signal to the camera to let it know that you're using it. The same way, like if you're holding it in your hand and you're clicking things, the camera knows you're using it. And it keeps resetting the auto power off or the auto screen power off that's built into the camera. So right now, we're technically under a 30-minute time limit, unless I just get up and do something on the camera, that the screen would eventually power off. So to your question earlier, as to is there a workaround with Nikon, I believe with the Nikon utility app that they have, that should work. However, there's an app if you have a... actually, let me try to find the name for it. So we'll turn that off. And I can't think of the name of it. If I find it, I'll put it in the comments or in the description. There's an app for Windows, if you happen to be using a Windows computer, that does the same thing that those utility apps would do, except since it's dedicated to that process, the app is so much cleaner and easier to use. The only downside to it, I believe, is that you do have to pay for it. Actually, let me see if I did download it. I feel like I might have. But it obviously didn't work because I have a Mac. No, it didn't even download. It's like Spot something, I think. So I'll look for that, and I'll put that in the comments below or in the description after the stream. So that was a lot. That was a lot for 40 minutes. But I will address two of the questions that I had prior to all of this mess. And again, if you're here, leave a thumbs up if you're enjoying this debacle. And subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. But one of the questions I got was actually, it was two-parter. Or not really, two from the same person. So the first one was, how do you stay motivated with making content? And the second one was, what do I plan on doing when quarantine is done? So I'm going to take out of the page of Pat Flynn, and while I swig some of my coffee, I'll play the intro music. All right. So, first question, how do I stay motivated to do all of this? That answer is an interesting one, or the answer will be an interesting one, because I've, over the course of like the last 5 or 6 years, have started doing various hobbies, or have gotten into certain hobbies. And one of the hobbies that I got into at one point was actually cosplaying. Now, with that hobby, my motivation to do it was a new convention. So every time a new convention was coming up, you know, the idea of figuring out who I would cosplay, figuring out, you know, how I would make this costume. A theme I always had going was kind of like I wasn't going for accuracy, but I'd always go for like battle damage and then also like real clothes built into a costume, if that makes sense, as opposed to just like something out of a comic book. So that was always my motivation to make a new costume or a new cosplay. And over time, going to Comic-Cons, the thrill wasn't there anymore. Aside from New York Comic-Con and Boston Comic-Con. Those are the two that I like going because I have friends that go there. Some of you are probably watching. The other part of New York Comic-Con is just going to New York. But as that thrill was leaving, I found my desire to make cosplays kind of decrease. So going into this hobby of content creation and YouTube, my fear personally is that I will get to a point where maybe a certain aspect of it isn't that intriguing. And maybe I will start to fall off on making content. I'm not sure. The way that I'm finding to get around it and to kind of plan ahead or at least in my own head, I was kind of planning ahead. I guess no pun intended on that. Is I keep trying to level up what I'm doing and find something new to add to this as a whole. I guess brand is the best way to put it at the moment. So in the last couple of months, learning new technology, learning the faults of programs, finding new ways to do lighting, even something like changing the lights here, stupid things like that. I find keep me like almost grasping for something new. And then the other part of it is my vision board that I made, which I was happy to say, and thanks for all of you who commented and watched that last video. The vision board gives me goals to try to hit. And if I keep trying to hit those goals, I think that keeps me intrigued in the hobby as a whole. So, the merchandise one, that's crossed off sort of because I haven't launched the merch store. But for example, all of this week and part of last week, I was just sitting down watching videos on how to design clothes and how to design logos and all this kinds of stuff. So even that, like, it was somehow away from my my content creation here, but it was still a part of it. Now, the video production, not video production, but the amount of videos going out, that did drop. Like last week, I think I only did 4 videos, as opposed to like my usual like 6. But I was still working on something that was related to this. So hopefully, when the merchandise part launches, then coming up with new ideas for that will help keep, everything fresh. Of course, 500 subs, making enough money through ad revenue to buy a burrito, like all those little fun things, keep like the carrot in front of me. So that's, I think that's how I keep from this becoming bland and boring, or that keeps me from losing motivation the way I did with cosplay. Now, as far as what I want to do when quarantine's done, that's also a tricky question, because once quarantine is done, right? I mean, what does that even mean? Like, let's say there is a date where they're like, all right, go back out into the world. Normal things still aren't going to be there the way they were. So like Comic-Con isn't going to just be there when this is all over. The gym's not going to open up right away once it's all over. So there's little things that, when it's all said and done, I still may not be able to do. So I think if I'm to just find something that seems reasonable that I want to do when it's all over, it might actually just be going to the beach and not having to go in a hazmat suit. And, maybe it's part of a vacation. On my vision board, I do have vacation. But aside from that, I think that would be my goal in the immediate future. So maybe not as luxurious of an idea of what I want to do, but that's all I have on my mind there. So before we head out, let me just read through some comments. Again, thanks everybody for being here. It means a lot. Oh, it's that way. I gotta get used to where these things point to. No, and I learned from you as well. Like, that's what's so cool about the income stream. So if anybody's watching this after the fact, every morning at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific, Pat Flynn does the income stream, and there's a lot of like-minded creators that go there, and he does website reviews. He answers questions about creating content, building a brand, all that kind of stuff. So it's actually turned into my new, like I call Pat and the rest of the income stream, I call all of you my coworkers. Like, I start my day usually around the time that stream is. I punch in, the phones are on, emails are up, but then like Pat's just playing on the TV, answering questions and reading things. And it's kind of like having that coworker, so I don't feel like I'm by myself. And even when the questions and comments come up, same concept. It's like, oh, my coworkers are asking a question. So it actually helps get through the day. So I encourage everybody to check out the income stream and check out Pat Flynn in general if you're looking to grow. But I think that wraps it up. I want to thank all of you for being here, for dealing with the technical difficulties. hopefully next week this goes flawlessly. I got to figure out what's going on with that stupid app. But it was fun. Again, even these moments kind of keep me going because now the carrot that's dangling in front of me is making the next stream go flawlessly. So there's that. I forgot to put the HeyArcher on the background. I'm just noticing it on the screen. So all kinds of things are messed up here. But thanks for watching. If you guys have questions or comments, leave them down below. On Wednesdays, I put the link out to submit a question, so look out for that. But if you submit questions through my social media, I'll save those even from now until next week and answer them on the next show. So all of you who are at home, whether you're listening live or pre-recorded, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for commenting. Thank you in advance for the like. Thanks for getting me to 150. I'll do the drawing this weekend on that, and I'll let everybody know who wins. So like, comment, subscribe, share. I'll talk to all you nerds in the next video.